Hey, so I'm here to tell you about the time I wrote a fan fiction. Every kid who ever watches a TV show or plays a video game or reads a book, I believe, goes through a period of time where they at least write one fan fiction. And yes, I was one of those kids. I wrote myself a fan fiction. I think when I was 11, I discovered fanfiction.net. And for y'all at home, that was 19 years ago. Welcome to the show, Waltz. How you doing? My friend, excuse me. Do I need to kick you out of my room? When I was 10, my friend had a PlayStation, and we played the hell out of that all the time. One of them was a little Squaresoft game called Threads of Fate. That's the English name for it. The Japanese name was Do Prism. Threads of Fate really didn't make sense as a title. It really didn't. Do Prism actually made sense. Oh my fucking god. I played the shit out of it. And when I was 12 and started 7th grade, all I did was draw fan fiction of this incredibly obscure Squaresoft game from 1999 or whatever. Excuse me. Yes? Hi. Leave me alone! Go away! Shoo! I'm doing something! So, the gist of it, Threads of Fate, is two kids. One is named Rue and one is named Mint. And they are both looking for a relic. And they find out that there is a relic in this area. And they both meet up and they fight to get it. And it's one of those games where you can play Mint's story or you can play Rue's story. My 11-year-old self just fucking fell in love with Rue. He was just amazing. And replaying the game recently, he's not like, he's alright. Oh god, I remember when he took his hat off and I was just like, ah! Because I couldn't just draw things to get my obsession out of the way, I also had to look for as much of it online as I could. I signed on to AOL and I searched through AOL Threads of Fate and I discovered fanfiction.net and it was like the best day of my life. And I read every single Threads of Fate story on there, which there was probably like, I don't know, 9. I decided, I have to write my own. Do I have a story for it? No. Do I need a story? No. Let's just start now. I had never written a fan fiction. I had only ever played video games and watched anime, and I think I hadn't even discovered manga yet, so my storytelling skills were not very good, but holy shit did I have some action scenes. It was 12 chapters long, and I think there was at least 2 fights in every chapter, and they were so descriptive, like way overly descriptive. I think I just really enjoyed writing fight scenes. When I got the idea to do this video thing, I went onto fanfiction.net and looked for it because I was like, oh my god, I need to fucking read that to the internet because it was bad. It was so bad. But then I remembered about 11 years ago, I remembered that it existed and I signed in just to delete it. I believe the story that I came up with because I wrote it chapter by chapter and just like I knew that I needed to write it. How the hell do I start this thing? Well, they hunted for relics first. That's how they met. So I'm gonna write a story that starts with them hunting for a relic. And it's in a desert. And because they're a boy and a girl, Rue and Mint are a couple. They are in this desert looking for this relic, and they go into this crumbling ruin, and they fight something, and at the end of the fight, oh no, the ruins are coming down, oh no, and Mint sees a piece falling, and she pushes Rue out of the way, and he gets out of the way and turns around and watches the rubble fall down on her and kill her. Rue is looking for a relic because Claire, some lady that found him, was killed protecting him, and he wants to find a relic to bring her back to life. So now he's like, okay, well, Mint just died protecting me. Where could I have possibly gotten that idea? So I need to find another relic to bring back Mint. Even though he was already looking for a relic, I think he was looking for a relic just to sell for money, even though that's totally not what he would have done. He goes back to, what was the name of that port town? It has great music. He goes back to the town and talks with the people and fights the bad guys, even though, like, the bad guys are killed and or reformed. I can't really remember. It's been a long time since I've played all the way through that game. But I just kind of brought characters in, and they would fight Rue, and there would be, like, ghostly Mint moments where she would, like, show up on the fountain, and Rue'd be like, Mint! And she'd be like, Rue, I'm waiting for you. It was just so dumb. And I remember getting some comments about how detailed the fight scenes were. I remember I would think about my story at school when I wasn't drawing the characters, and I would, on my break or on lunch, I would write the story that I was going to type later on that day. And I remember there was one line where Rue was going to say damn, and I was like writing it like this. And then after I wrote it, I had my hand on my paper like this and wrote as fast along the paper until I could turn the paper, and I was like, nobody will ever know that I wrote the D word. And no, not Dick. I decided to make my name Oh What of Tomorrow for whatever reason. Like, ooh, that's a really deep name. Oh What of Tomorrow. And I only wrote that one story, and I only read Threads of Fate stories. Finding fanfiction.net was really opening the door to, like, the LOL random phase, because there was one story that somebody wrote on Threads of Fate where it was just really dumb madness and nothing made sense, and it was all, nobody was acting in character. It was just these characters and this madness happening, and, like, the foreword actually mentions it too. Like, I know! In this other story that I read, Rue decided that he was terrified of lamps for some reason. And my 12-year-old self, thought that was so funny that at school I decided that I was terrified of lamps. For like 3 months I would mention how much lamps scared me, and, like, in the type of LOL random way, not actually, like, expressing serious fear. There was even one class that I went to that I had all of my friends. So there was like 6 of us in there who all knew each other. 6 12-year-olds in one place who all are best friends. Probably the worst environment in the world. We had to go around and introduce ourselves to the class and say a little tidbit about them. And my stupid ass person self decided to say, hi, I'm Andrea. I'm scared of lamps. And I was called out on it because one of the bullies decided to introduce himself by saying he was scared of watermelons. And then he like shot me this look. And I was like, and I think that's when I realized that being scared of lamps was stupid and I needed to stop. So I went on fanfiction.net to see if anybody has recently written a Threads of Fate fanfiction. And there's only 2 stories in there. Surprise, surprise. And they are both crossovers. One is a Kingdom Hearts crossover with Threads of Fate, which, I mean, fair enough. Square Enix did Kingdom Hearts and Squaresoft did Threads of Fate. So, kind of. Meh. The second story is a crossover with Little Mermaid. Who knows? I'm really disappointed that I deleted my story, but I do have a story that I wrote from like a roleplay that I did. Do any of you older people remember like forum roleplays where like 7 people found one forum and just got together and did like post roleplays? Early 2000s were a time. So I have that story, and I might make a video about that and reading that, but oh my god, I think I was like 15, and I remember I had to write an adult character, and I made him 25, because 25 is old. I'm 30. Help. I just thought that I would talk about my fan fiction. I went down a little bit of a YouTube rabbit hole of people reading bad fan fictions, and I had flashbacks from the war and decided, you know what? I'm gonna share this shit. So, anyways, thanks for watching. Let's just throw an opinion into the void and see if anybody discovers it. Ciao!